lives here, at Slumber Shed, to be precise. Pertree is a rather large bear. So large, in fact, that sometimes he frightens people. If you saw a large bear, you might be frightened too. But Pertree wouldn't hurt anyone. He is a kind and gentle bear. Pertree spends his days cycling his bicycle around Blueberry Forest, saying hello to all his friends. Although Pertree actually says it like this. Hello! You see, Pertree speaks in a loud, booming voice. And he speaks very slowly. Oh yes, so very, very slowly. Our story begins one evening in Blueberry Forest. Pertree was cycling as he likes to do. The path through the forest is long and windy, and there are lots of things for Pertree to see. That evening, Mavis the pony was out for a careful stroll through the forest when she saw a huge shape coming towards her. Ah! She screamed. Something huge and terrifying is coming towards me. The huge and terrifying shape let out a loud noise as it came towards Mavis. Hello! It was Pertree. Mavis screamed again and ran around in a panic. Although she did pause to wonder why something huge and terrifying would need a bicycle. Pertree let out a little sigh as he watched Mavis. It wasn't his fault that he was so big. He doesn't like frightening anyone. As he turned to leave, with a sad look on his face, he noticed that Mavis's little yellow bow had fallen off. He picked it up and gently offered it to her. Mavis wondered why a huge and terrible shape would want to give her yellow bow back. So she stopped and took a deep breath. It wasn't something huge and terrifying at all. It was Pertree. Oh, Pertree, she said as she took her yellow bow. You gave me such a fright. Pertree looked terribly sad. I'm sorry, he said slowly in his loud voice. Oh, that's okay, smiled Mavis, who realized that she had been a bit silly. All better now. Pertree was very happy to see Mavis smiling. Pertree began to tell Mavis the story of everything that had happened to him that day. Pertree loves to tell stories. And as Pertree was telling his story, Wee Reg the puppy and the small green thing also stopped to listen. Pertree really does tell very interesting stories. As Pertree reached the end of his story, he noticed that the sky was getting very dark. Big black clouds covered Blueberry Forest. A light flashed across the sky, followed by the loudest sound they had ever heard. Boom! Mavis was terrified. Wee Reg was terrified. The small green thing was terrified. Even Pertree was a little scared. What's that? They all shouted. Just then, they saw someone running through the forest. It was Paolo the cat. He was holding a book over his head because it was starting to rain very heavily. Pertree, very slowly, asked Paolo what was happening. Why were there lights in the sky? Why was there a big loud noise? Paolo is a very clever little cat. He explained that it was a thunderstorm. Boom! Went the thunder. The friends shuddered with fear. Boom! Even clever Paolo was frightened by the loud thunder. Pertree didn't like seeing his friends so scared, so he brought everyone home to Slumber Shed, which was very close by. Everybody was soon dry and warm, and he made each of them a nice mug of hot chocolate. Boom! Went the thunder. Oh dear, thought Pertree. All of his friends were afraid. Just as the thunder once more went boom, they heard another noise. It was loud and booming too. It was Pertree telling another story. A very loud and very slow story.
Once upon a time,
Boomed Pertree, as he began a wonderful fairy story. An unusually loud and booming fairy story. Before long, nobody noticed the thunder outside. Pertree's story was so interesting, and they just wanted to find out what happened next. But it was late, and they couldn't keep their eyes open. One by one, they all fell asleep. Eventually, even Pertree fell asleep. Pertree snores very loudly. The next morning, the friends woke up. The thunder had stopped and the sun was shining. It was a lovely day. Mavis yawned a big yawn. Each one of the friends thanked Pertree before they went home. Pertree was very happy and nobody was frightened anymore. But as Mavis was walking home, she stopped. "Oh no!" she shouted. Did she see a huge and terrifying shape? No, she just remembered something. I was asleep. I don't know what happened at the end of the story.